A very good evening, welcome to Premier League Live in what is a huge night both at the top and the bottom of the Premier League table. Burnley take on Manchester City at Turf Moor alongside Bournemouth taking on Leeds. We'll get to that game at the Vitality very shortly. But here at Turf Moor, Burnley on the verge of relegation. A defeat tonight against Manchester City would send them back to the Championship at the first time of asking. And for Manchester City, if they do win tonight, they would go top of the table for the first time since match day 1 of the season. How long ago that was. That is amongst the fixtures that are taking place across this midweek and weekend on LFS. In the Premier League, a consequential weekend to come as well, but it all started yesterday with Brighton's 3-0 victory over Chelsea, and today we know that has had a big implication on today's news, with Liam Rosenior being sacked as the Chelsea boss, with the side on their worst run in the league in 114 years. 1912 the last time they lost 5 league games in a row for Chelsea without scoring, and they have been on a torrid run, and Brighton, a fantastic 3 points for them, puts them up to 6th. We'll talk about all of that. Thanks for that interruption. We'll talk about all of that in a moment, but we have to talk about the run-in and what it means really at this point of the season. The relegation battle, of course. Wolves are of course relegated after that result at the weekends, sent them packing to the Championship for the first time in 8 years, so they are down. Of course, Burnley could follow suit tonight if they were to lose against Manchester City this evening. Burnley 13 points adrift of safety with West Ham. If they lose tonight, Burnley, this is their 34th game. If they lose tonight, they would have just 12 points left to play for, and they would be duly relegated because they would be too far to reach the Hammers. That is the relegation zone complications tonight. But in terms of the race for the Premier League title, it is getting very entertaining and exciting. Arsenal remain top, at least for now, with their defeat to Manchester City, meaning it's just a 3-point gap between the two sides coming into tonight's game for City. And of course, Burnley away tonight. A win would put City top of the table. If they were to win by 1 goal tonight, Manchester City, they would go top of the table on goals scored because of the side's familiar goal difference. City were to win by 1 goal, they would both be on plus 37 goal difference with 70 points. And the only thing that would separate them was City would have scored more goals than Arsenal in the season. But of course, after tonight, it's 5 games for both teams to remain in the season. Arsenal's next league game is against Newcastle on Saturday. They then have Fulham at home, West Ham away, Burnley at home, and Crystal Palace away. For Manchester City, Burnley at home away tonight, then Everton away on Monday to come. Not Monday coming, the next Monday, the 4th of May. Then the 9th of May, they have Brentford at home, Bournemouth away, and then Aston Villa at home on the final day. They've to fit in a home game against Crystal Palace in there too. Of course, that was postponed earlier in the season, so that is to be played for Manchester City. That is their game in hand, which they will still have over Arsenal after level match weeks played. But when it comes to a comparison, the best way to look at it, well, how did these two do against the opponents they've still got to come in the first half of the season? Well, Arsenal, pretty much perfect. Their last 5 matches are against teams they all beat in the reverse fixture this season. Newcastle, Fulham, West Ham, Burnley and Palace all lost to Arsenal in their first fixture between the sides. That would put Arsenal on an expected 85 points after 38 games. That is the maximum, of course. Then, for Manchester City, well, 5 of their 6 remaining opponents they beat in the reverse. The only game they didn't win was against Aston Villa at Villa Park. They lost that game to Villa. So if they were to repeat themselves from the reverse fixtures, then City would end the season on 82 points, and Arsenal would end the season on 85 points, which would mean that Arsenal would be the champions, and that would be the ending sitting if those reverse fixtures were to repeat themselves. Now that's just a little bit of an experiment, just to give you a little bit of a look to see how they fared against the teams that they faced earlier in the season. If it still continues, it will be just one game, seemingly, that would separate these two. But that is what makes this title race so intriguing between now and the end of the season. As the players do emerge from the tunnel here at Turf Moor, it is a huge night. As I said, at the top and the bottom. After Wolves' relegation confirmed at the weekend, we could have our second team relegated from the Premier League tonight if Burnley lose by any margin to Manchester City. But for City, top of the table awaits with a victory. If they win by even one goal, they would be top of the table by the finest of margins of goals scored. Any more than that, and their goal difference will be a massive boost for the remainder of the season. It could come down to goal difference or even goals scored. That is how tight this title race is. Let's have a look at the two teams for this one, starting with Burnley, and of course they know their fate is all but sealed, and it will be sealed if they lose tonight. Martin Dubravka starts in goal, a back five captained by former Manchester City player Kyle Walker at right back. Ekbal, Humphreys, Esteve and Hartman are the back five. A midfield four, James Ward-Prowse is in there, Josh Laurent, Chichona and Jadon Anthony make up the midfield four, with Zian Fleming leading the Burnley line. And Zian Fleming scored against Nottingham Forest at the weekend, but Burnley went on to lose 4-1. On the bench, Weiss, Worrell, Perez, Ugochukwu, Louise, Trezor, Foster, Edwards and Armando Broya. Well, for Manchester City, an enforced change for them tonight in the side. No Rodri, he is out injured. Gianluigi Donnarumma continues in goal after his mistake against Arsenal. Ultimately, didn't cost City the points in the end. Only change to the defence is that Ryan Aït-Nouri replaces Nico O'Reilly in left back. Nunes, Kushanov and Gehi all remain in their positions from Sunday's win. O'Reilly goes into midfield in replacement of Rodri alongside Bernardo Silva, with the remaining City side all the same. Ryan Cherki scored the opener against Arsenal. He starts in the 10. Semenyo and Doku as the wingers, and Erling Haaland, who got his first open play goal of the calendar year at the weekend in the league, he starts up front. On the bench for Pep Guardiola's side, of course, Trafford, Stones, Ake, Reinders, Kovacic, Gonzalez, Savinho, Foden and Marmoush. So strength and depth if they need it tonight, Manchester City. But Burnley have only beaten Manchester City once in the last 51 years. That was here in 2015. If they repeat that, they delay their relegation and certainly give Arsenal a major boost in the title race. You never know with the Premier League this season, but surely if City show up, they will take the points. Kickoff at Turf Moor between Burnley and Manchester City, and of course at the Vitality between Bournemouth and Leeds, is next. A very good evening. Thank you very much for joining us for this one. This evening, two huge games in the Premier League to conclude what has been a long run of Premier League football since Saturday. 5 consecutive days. We'll take a little break tomorrow, and then we'll be straight back on Friday night with some more consequential football at this run-in at this stage of the season. Burnley, of course, in their claret shirts, white shorts. Manchester City in their away strip tonight of grey with luminous green stripes. As we get underway here at Turf Moor, and as well they get underway between Bournemouth and Leeds there at the Vitality Stadium. Remember, Bournemouth can go 6th with a victory tonight if over Leeds, and a Leeds side who are on good form themselves and could all but confirm their safety in the Premier League. If they win tonight, Leeds would go on to 42 points. That would be 11 clear of Spurs, who would have just 15 points left to play for, which would all but surely see Leeds safe. But a Bournemouth side who are unbeaten in 13 Premier League games, so a tough task for Leeds tonight. We'll keep an eye on that one as this one progresses here at Turf Moor. A high 12 months can make a major difference. 12 months ago, Burnley were on the push to be Centurion champions in the Championship. They went on to be Centurions, didn't win the Championship via goal difference, but it's going to be a much bigger margin for their end of season this season. They sit currently 13 points adrift of safety, and after tonight, if they don't move themselves any closer, they will be down and out of the Premier League. And the most recent looking yo-yo club of Burnley in the league are going to be going back down. They have to lose for that to be the case. Even a draw would still technically, albeit goal difference would be massively against them, but it wouldn't mathematically make it impossible for Burnley to stay up, but it would be all but done, even with a draw. Bernardo Silva picks the ball up here in midfield and has time to run with the ball. Breaks into the Burnley box completely unchallenged. And Bernardo Silva has a shot eventually blocked, but he ran about 25 yards there, Bernardo Silva, with no Burnley player trying to stop him. Already, Manchester City have come out with the clear intention to try and get an early goal. Arsenal hoping that Burnley can pull off a miracle here tonight, so that they do stay top. Arsenal have been top of the table since early October. They're looking likely to be dethroned if City win tonight. Here is Gushanov to Gehi. Into O'Reilly with a reverse ball. There's a little loose and given away here is Chauna further forward. Plays it into Jadon Anthony. A chance for Burnley here. Jadon Anthony! Good save by Donnarumma. Well, an early scare there for Manchester City. Flag's going to go up anyway against Burnley, but good save by Donnarumma. Good shot by Jadon Anthony. See it here. It comes from this loose pass by Nico O'Reilly in the middle. Just plays a blind pass for no reason. Gives it away a little cheaply. Chauna does really well to find Anthony on that left side as he cuts back inside on his right foot. Completely beats past Matej Nunes. Switched it with his right foot. Swung towards goal, and Donnarumma making the good save. A bit of a scare there for Manchester City. Oh, Esteve getting a little loose with his play. Here's Bernardo Silva. Cuts it back to Semenyo. Now rolls it back. Jackie onto the crossbar. O'Reilly over the top. Well, Martin Dubravka got something to that Ryan Cherky shot and forced it onto the crossbar. They tried to walk it into the net there, City, and we're a couple of inches at most away from taking the lead. Cherky again. That's a really good save by Dubravka. Cherky just trying to prod it past him. And a fantastic save across to his left-hand side with his right arm up and onto the crossbar. Dubravka, who has major experience in the Premier League. 37-year-old. Of course, had spells at, of course, for Newcastle for quite a number of years up until last season. And of course had a spell at Manchester United as well, so has experienced Dubravka at the top level. And this will go down as his career worst season, Dubravka. So here come Manchester City. Erling Haaland's in behind. Erling Haaland! 1-0 Manchester City. And Erling Haaland again. He steps up and he rolls it into the far corner. And just a few seconds after they hit the crossbar, City, they hit the front. And Erling Haaland delivers again. 24 league goals this season. His second in as many games. And City are on a roll inside just 5 minutes here at Turf Moor. Made that run in behind and was away, and no one was catching him. And from that angle, you know what's going to happen. Erling Haaland, 9 times out of 10, is going to swipe that one home. Beautifully done by Doku. Holds on to it nicely. I mean, he's miles onside here, Haaland. It's terrible defending by Burnley. I mean, he's about 4 yards onside and there's no one anywhere near him. Easiest through ball that Doku will ever play. And an easiest 1v1 that Erling Haaland will ever have to face. Martin Dubravka already committed to his save. He dived the wrong way and Haaland just dinked it past him into the far corner. Beautifully done. And Manchester City are already in front after just 6 minutes. Erling Haaland. He's had a bit of a barren spell in front of goal in terms of open play this second half of the season. And he seems to have refound that form. So here comes City again. Maybe under a little bit of pressure here. Burnley in, almost finding a leveller as it's cleared away eventually there by City with Bernardo Silva. But that's 2 times already. Burnley have been in behind and look dangerous. They got away with it there, City. And remember, we'll show you the live table. And Manchester City would be top of the tree. Only on goals scored, remember. But all that matters is they would occupy top spot. And as it stands as well, Burnley would be relegated. That's a nice ball to find Haaland. Cherky, Haaland gets the brick of the ball. And that one deflected over the top for a corner. Beautiful from O'Reilly, finding Haaland, then Cherky. Just scintillating football from City. And ultimately, that effort from Haaland is forced over the top by the Burnley defender. But on 2 occasions, Burnley have been in behind. And I think it was Hartman that time. Found a bit of space, gets past Bernardo Silva. And then well closed out by Kushanov. But Anthony with one, Hartman with one. Burnley have looked at danger. Corner to City, taken short. Nunes back to Bernardo Silva. Into Cherky. Got time and space. Blocked. Semenyo picks it back up. One-way traffic here at Turf Moor. All Manchester City here. Cherky. Bernardo Silva. Couldn't find a man. Semenyo back to Bernardo Silva. They're just pass and move football from City, and that was ultimately cut out by James Ward-Prowse, who also has vast experience in the Premier League. You can certainly see the blueprint of what Burnley were trying to do this season. Of course, spent many's a year at Southampton, did James Ward-Prowse, and West Ham most recently, before his spell here at Burnley. And of course, he's only on loan from West Ham till the end of the season. Here's Josh Laurent. Back to Esteve. Back wide to Hartman. Burnley with a bit of possession, 9.5 minutes gone, and you probably feel what we've seen so far, both sides could have a couple of goals in the game. It could be as high as 2-2 with the chances we've seen. Really exciting start. Still goalless elsewhere between Bournemouth and Leeds. Neither side have had a shot as of yet. Pretty even to go off there at the Vitality Stadium. Nunes with the header. Bernardo Silva flicks it on to. Brought down by Semenyo, who's being hauled and pulled at there. City do keep possession with Silva. And back to Abdulkadir Kushanov. Gurhi pinging one in behind. The run of Cherky. Esteve trying to see it out for a goal kick and does well there. Maxime Esteve under pressure from Cherky. He's the most physical player, Ryan Cherky, but certainly make it tricky for you. We have to see this goal again. I mean, it's beautiful from Jeremy Doku. The control, the touch, and then the pass is fabulous. But then Haaland's run. I mean, there's no Burnley defender anywhere near him. It's just really poor defending. And as they get close, it's too late. Haaland's already thought about and executed what he's going to do. And it's already hitting the back of the net by the time they get close to him. There's a ball in behind. Looking for Jayden Anthony's run, but Nunes there to close that one. Bernardo Silva is a little bit loose there. A couple of times they have given the ball away a little cheaply, Manchester City. They haven't been completely on top of Burnley in terms of their in-possession play. They haven't suffocated them. They've allowed them a bit of room and a bit of leeway so far, Burnley. Here's Josh Laurent. Right it goes. Back in field to Esteve. Now Ward-Prowse. Esteve. Down the line to Hartman. No way through there, and that's going to be a Manchester City throw. It's going to be a foul. Kyle Walker on the scene, of course the former City player who won a couple of league titles with Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. Now, Burnley have won just one of their 19 Premier League games against Manchester City. They've lost 15 of those other 18. They've lost their last 11 in a row, though, against City. The longest ever losing run against an opponent in their league history is this current run. And of course, that only breaking Manchester City's record of winning 14 of the last 15 Premier League games against Burnley was that loss here. That was a draw, and before that record began, of course lost 1-0 here in March of 2015 is the game that I told you about. It's the only Burnley win in 50 years against Manchester City. Anthony here. A bit of possession here for the home team. Here's Kyle Walker. Swung it in towards the area, hooked away by O'Reilly, who was central there, and that one cleared up the line by Ike Nuri, out for the Burnley throw. And the City have had just 62% possession, XG of 1.03 so far, 6 shots, 2 big chances, 3 shots on target. A lot of threat from Manchester City so far, and already have that lead, and it could be a bigger lead as it stands. We haven't talked much about Burnley this season, but it's kind of evident in the way that they've played and the way their season's panned out that they just haven't been anywhere near competitive enough in the Premier League this season. That's nicely picked up by Ait-Nouri, finds Doku, Haaland leaves it, finds Ryan Cherky. Trying to get off a shot, but he's dragged a little wide. He's still in the box as he flicks one across. Away by Ward-Prowse. Nunes shielded that one, but he had the last touch there. That will be a Burnley throw. As I was saying about Burnley, I mean, they haven't won a home game since October. They haven't won a Premier League game since early February when they won away at Crystal Palace, but lost each of the last 3 games in the league. They're a team that have been well cast adrift for a long period of time. I mean, I have to say, a Burnley team that started the season not too badly when they went away at Spurs and made a good chance out of it. Had a good try. That's a lovely ball through. Here's Ian Fleming. Fleming in front of goal, and he dragged it well wide. Well, that is a chance again for Burnley, which they don't take, and they have had opportunities so far. Again, it's really nicely worked by Walker. I think is he just Whether he's on or off there is very tight, but a beautiful ball through for Kyle Walker. And Ian Fleming in front of goal just cuts it back across and gets it all wrong. Drags it well wide of the target. A Burnley side who've scored 34 goals this season, but only 15 of those have come here at Turf Moor, so they're not prolific on home turf this season, Burnley. Actually, coming into tonight's game, they were the second worst side at home this season. As it stands, with them currently losing, they will be joint worst with Wolves for the with Spurs, for the least points picked up at home this season. Only 11 points they've picked up at home. 2 wins and 5 draws, 9 defeats. Of course, they've only picked up 20 points all season. Last time Burnley got relegated from the Premier League was the 23-24 season. They only picked up 24 points that season. Bernardo Silva back to O'Reilly, and now Gerhi finding Nuri a little higher up the field as he has to retreat back into midfield to try and find a City player. Create that progressive pass, which he does nicely to find Ryan Cherky wide on that right. We saw him take up a lot of those positions against Arsenal. He can play through the middle, Cherky, but he does like to drift out to that right flank quite a lot of times and occupy the space that's usually left out wide. Here's Semenyo, picks the ball up in the half space, lays it out wide to Cherky, drives into the area, crosses one in, cleared away by Ekbal. Bernardo Silva, which switches it back out to Cherky, onto his left foot. Cherky still going, and as he gets this shot off, it's charged down again by a Burnley player. I think Ryan Cherky on his own has had a couple of chances in this game. I think that was his 3rd shot of the game so far. One that, of course, hit the woodwork. A couple that have been blocked, but he's already looked a danger so far tonight, Cherky. And of course, we know his impact and how well he's played this season, but it's more about setting up goals than scoring them. In the Premier League, he's got 10 Premier League assists, 4 Premier League goals. His 4th, of course, was against Arsenal at the weekend. He is a main creative force. There's 3 goal involvements in his last 2 games for Ryan Cherky, 2 assists against Chelsea and that goal against Arsenal. Means he's hitting a hot streak at the minute. Here is Doku. Rolled it into Haaland, who tried to take it on the first glance. Rebound is shot and blocked. And the flag went up as Haaland made the block against Bernardo Silva's shot. Burnley free kick. Well, he smiles and laughs it off there, Erling Haaland. Again, it's really good from Doku. No chance there for Kyle Walker. Plays a lovely diagonal ball into Haaland's path. He's just blocked off by Ekdal. He tried to tick it round the defender first time, and then the rebound found Bernardo Silva, who shot right at his number 9, who was offside. Still goalless, by the way, at the Vitality between Bournemouth and Leeds. 21 minutes gone there, and seemingly Bournemouth have started the better of the 2 teams, have had 1 or 2 shots, but nothing too ultimately dangerous for Leeds to deal with. Bournemouth side, who we mentioned at the start of the night, can go 6th with a win tonight, 7th with a draw. Chelsea would continue to drop down the table. They would drop to 8th, Chelsea, if Bournemouth pick up anything out of that game against Leeds. And other teams could still leapfrog Chelsea between now and the end of the weekend. Could get worse for them. Nice play again from City on that right flank. Back inside to Núñez. Good options, but a very congested midfield to look at. Finds Cherky, back to Nunes. Now Kushanov. He will stroll away with the ball. Abdulkadir Kushanov. Little slip. Try to square it back across, but ultimately only Burnley players. It's cleared away for a City throw. O'Reilly. Nunes with the ball in. Too deep for Haaland and hooked away by Walker. Doku was on the scene. Quickly City retrieve again. Guehi. Bernardo Silva back to Mark Guehi. One thing we have to say is, albeit Mark Guehi only signed in January, but he's fitted into this City team like a glove. Just perfectly slotted into that centre-back position. I'm starting to see a real strong partnership between Kushanov and Guehi, which is just solidified at the right point of the season, where they've just strengthened defensively and find that rhythm in the back four. Just to be so solid and so hard to stop Manchester City, and so hard to find a way through at times. Semenyo does well to just outstretch that ball wide. Cherky back across to Guehi deep. Guehi pokes one through, held up by Cherky, who was brought down. That's going to be a free kick. Josh Laurent committing the foul. Free kick to Manchester City. Yeah, Cherky did well there against the play, and it's kind of held on to there by the Burnley midfielder. So they move it quickly now, City. Guehi tried the cross, blocked by Ward-Prowse. Semenyo and Hartman going at it, but Semenyo wrestles the full-back off and now finds Bernardo Silva, who was just stolen away from him again by Ekdal. He got back in, stole it away, put it behind for a corner. It's just a heavy first touch really from Bernardo Silva, and Ekdal's right on it to put it behind, but nice 1v1 play for there with Antoine Semenyo against Hartman. Did well to muscle the full back. Corner it is then to City on the right hand side. Swung in this time deep to the back post, and O'Reilly, it's actually cleared away and behind for another corner. Well, Nico O'Reilly, headers in the area, it's one of his biggest strengths, and Martin Dubravka tried to smother that one. He just kind of made sure that it didn't go anywhere near the net and parried it behind. Again from the short corner, City closed out by everybody back for Burnley. I mean, literally everybody right on the edge of their 18-yard box. There's compact, and then there's that. Incredibly compact, but there's so much space in between the lines. I mean, there's so many Burnley players, but there's still so much space. It's unfathomable, really, how that can happen. Here's Cherky, bit of space and time. He's going to try and spin one right down the throat of Dubravka. Getting a bit frustrated, Ryan Cherky, that he's not find that extra little bit out of it. A couple of shots he's had so far, and they've all either been denied by the woodwork, stopped, blocked, or saved. I mean, City have been well on top in the last 5 minutes, had 88% possession, so it is just all Manchester City, and Burnley kind of just waiting on their fate really at this stage. They did have some threat in the first 20 minutes, but it's kind of faded. Semenyo, Nunes, bodies in the area, goes deep this time again. Walker chests it back to his goalkeeper. Again, much overhit from Mateus Nunes. It's just a little bit of a loose play. It's just a little bit lazy, really. Mateus Nunes whipping it in with no real target on the end of it. That's nicely done by Zian Fleming. Held it up well there for Burnley. Anthony wide. Again, not much energy further forward to try and carry Burnley up the pitch. And forced all the way backwards. And then they miscue a pass, and Manchester City back on the ball. Very rinse and repeat type of possession from Burnley. That's a nice ball to O'Reilly, who is occupying a very tight area. Finds a way out to Doku on the left. Dwight Nuri back. Wide it goes to Bernardo Silva. Lots of movement between the lines from City. Burnley just can't keep a hold of the City players at the minute and keep track of them. Semenyo up against Hartman again. Anthony in cover. Drops back to Nunes. Now Semenyo again. They switch positions. Semenyo. Cherky. Wide to Nunes. So many Burnley players in the way. Just about trying to feed away through them. That's nice play by City. Zigzag football! And the finish from O'Reilly was well saved again by Martin Dubravka. That was really silky one-touch football from City, and then the finish from O'Reilly. Well stopped by Dubravka again. If City keep playing football like this, Martin Dubravka is going to have one of his best goal nights in front of goal. Because City are surely going to find a way through this more than just once tonight. They keep playing the football they do like that, in and around the area. Nunes straight to Cherky, no pressure again, wide to Semenyo. Edges into the area, cuts it back to Cherky. Not much room to manoeuvre for the Frenchman. Wide to Semenyo again, inside to Bernardo Silva. Constantly moving City team as Guehi under a bit of pressure. He loses out 1v1, and Chauna's away here for Burnley. He's got Zian Fleming. Chauna plays it through. Fleming is in. Fleming makes an absolute meal of it. Skies it well over the crossbar. I think Kushanov did well to just put a little bit of pressure on Zian Fleming, but poor from Guehi really, 1v1 against Chauna. Bit of a loose ball from Bernardo Silva, a little bit of City complacency with their possession, and Burnley just break away with Chauna. Flicked in behind, finding Zian Fleming, and Kushanov did well just to get a bit of pressure on him, force him into that earlier shot, and the shot ultimately was well off target. No danger whatsoever. Semenyo. O'Reilly. Doku. Kushanov. As well as Premier League football tonight, 4 championship games as well. We'll update you about those at half time. Lots of action. Ipswich in action tonight and looking to battle for second place with Millwall, who won yesterday evening. That's a nice ball in behind here for City. A bit more room for Semenyo if he can find the right options. Here is Doku, comes across, and his effort deflected behind by Hartman for a corner. Yeah, it's really nice play here. Little give and go between Cherky and Semenyo. Well, Semenyo breaks down that righty, cuts back inside his Stev. Doku does well, and then Hartman just retreating. Gets in the way of it at the last second. Puts it behind for a City corner. Burnley on the ropes again, but just about hanging in there. And I mean just about. However, there's an issue for Martin Dubravka. He's going to have to receive some treatment at the minute, so he must have hurt himself somewhere. Max Weiss is on the Burnley sub-goalkeeper tonight, the 21-year-old German. Joined for £3.5 million in the summer from Karlsruhe in Germany. And if he's needed. And actually, quite ironically, the former Burnley goalkeeper, who got them to the Premier League last season, is on the City bench tonight. James Trafford, of course, who joined City in the summer for £27 million and was bought as a starting goalkeeper for City before Gianluigi Donnarumma came on the scene and was available. And Trafford, who could have played against his old club tonight, he's on the bench. Would be surprised if James Trafford doesn't start actually on Saturday in the FA Cup, of course, against Southampton at Wembley. So I think he's got bigger fish to fry than this game against a relegation battler. Corner it is then for Manchester City. Dubravka received his treatment and is up and, at least for now, okay. Swinging again, cleared away by Chown at the front post. Not many City players again there. I mean, it's poor set piece delivery so far for Manchester City. I mean, don't want to be too critical, they're dominant in this game, but if there is something to be critical about, set pieces, they've just looked a little bit sloppy. Crosses, they've been off target, not finding the right areas to threaten. That is nitpicking, you have to say. Remember, if it stays as it is, or a scoreline of a similar distance, either 2-1, 3-2, etc., etc., by one goal, Manchester City would only lead the title race on goals scored, because the goal difference and the points tally against Arsenal would be exactly the same if it was to be a one-goal win for City tonight. Dushanov heading up the field. Doku does well, keeping it alive, but Semenyo couldn't bring it in, and that's stolen away from him by Hartman. Laurent just hanging on to the ball. Albeit a City player goes down, and Jeremy Doku, as he was slightly caught by Josh Laurent. Referee didn't see a foul, but Doku just being checked up on by our referee this evening, Andy Madley. They just kind of collide there, Laurent and Doku. Much of a foul, not a foul in it, but Doku okay to continue. And 33.5 minutes gone, still goalless at the Vitality Stadium. It has been Bournemouth that have looked the more threatening lead, still without a shot against Bournemouth in that game. Bournemouth more possession, but very little in front of goal before either side to this point, so not missing out on much there at the Vitality Stadium, where it remains goalless. Haaland's a little bit heavy on his touch there, given away to Humphreys, who he gives it right back to Manchester City with a poor pass of his own. Cherki breaking away with the ball here. Higher and higher up the pitch as he drifts into the box. Cherki going again, and the cross to Haaland was blocked. Bernardo Silva. Ait-Nouri wide to Doku. Doku onto his right foot. Back to Bernardo Silva. Guahido cycles. As Burnley have everybody back again, looking to just stay stubborn. Close out all the gaps for Manchester City. Albeit, even if Burnley have had everybody behind the ball, there's still been major gaps that City have used to exploit. Just haven't had the finish! And Ait-Nouri didn't have the finish there. Again, really good silky one-touch football from City again. And having all the control, even in the Burnley box. I mean, there's about 8 or 9 Burnley players in the box, and they still find these gaps and spaces to exploit and get shots off City. Just haven't had the finish to go with it so far. That was their 13th shot of the game. There's 5th on target. I've had 5 on target, sorry. Just not the finish to go with it. We can't forget, of course, they do have the lead, Manchester City. Beautifully done by Erling Haaland, but you know, the way they've played so far, City, you're surprised it isn't more. But not to get carried away or complacent, Manchester City. Still a long way to go, and they're still the chasing team, albeit they would have the lead as it stands. Remember, Arsenal, if they win out, the likelihood is it will be their title. You never know, could come down to the wire. More Price. Humphries. Steve going a bit more direct, finds Jadon Anthony, but forced backwards again. And even out of possession, City's press was good. Whenever Burnley have had the ball, they've been forced backwards. Not much. Since those early chances, Burnley have struggled to get very far up the field. Struggled to get anywhere near City's defence recently. Here comes Semenyo. Prods it into Cherky, who's just a little heavy on the ball, and it's a heavy touch from Cherky. Ultimately, Burnley will get a free kick for a foul in there by Ryan Cherky, but again, Semenyo just tries to force it into Cherky's path, and it's just a little bit of a loose touch from Cherky again. All his first touches when they've got into the box, City have just been a little bit heavy. And we don't want to completely disrespect Burnley. Of course, there's still 11 professional footballers out there, and albeit across the season they've been outclassed in nearly every game, but you have to also understand that they're fighting for their pride tonight, albeit they know they could possibly get relegated. They're not going to give up easily against Manchester City here tonight. Let them walk all over them. Albeit they've done that anyway, even if Burnley wanted them to or not. City have really walked all over Burnley. It's just the scoreline hasn't really reflected that as of yet. And Scott Parker, of course, just won 13 of his 85 Premier League games as a manager, which is horrendous. I mean, that is horrendous. I mean, it's genuinely horrendously bad. But to be fair, the last Burnley manager to get relegated ended up being the Bayern Munich manager and has just won the league at the weekend. So, I mean, who knows? Scott Parker might get a big European job after the season if he gets sacked as the Burnley boss. Or someone might come in for him, who knows? Nonetheless, it will be another City corner here. 6 minutes to go with the first half. Burnley 0, City 1. Erling Haaland's goal the difference. Corner swung in narrowly and punched away by Dubravka right on the goal line. As eventually it'll be pulled up for a Burnley foul in there. It's going to be a free kick to the home team. Delivery that time much more dangerous from City. Dubravka forced into almost a goal line clearance with his hands, punching it away. Burnley are winless in the last 12 Premier League home matches. Only once in their history have they had a longer league run without winning at Turf Moor, going 14 winless between February and October 2021. Here's Doku. Again comes City. Doku couldn't find a way across the box that time. Back out to Gerhi. Now Bernardo Silva. Wide to Doku again, who plays a heavy and miscued ball towards Aït-Nouri, and that's guided behind for a goal kick. Not been at his best so far tonight, Jeremy Doku, albeit he's played the assist for Erling Haaland's goal, but certainly 1v1 he's looked a little bit more isolated, unable to break through, and he absolutely run the show. He's been incredible run of form, Jeremy Doku. been fantastic. He's played fantastically, and I think against Chelsea and even against Arsenal at the weekend, he's just dominated that side of the pitch. Player who was heavily criticised early in his tenure at Manchester City, at his time at City, for his lack of finishing quality, his ability to show end product. Certainly tightened that up this season. It's become much more of a threatening force. O'Reilly. Cherky back to O'Reilly. Cherky plays it through. Doku's got away from his man this time. Doku with a cutback. And the clearance by Esteve behind for another corner. Haaland a bit frustrated with himself that he wasn't on the end of that one. And first real time we've seen Doku break away down this left channel in behind Kyle Walker. And as he gets to the byline, clips it back across and it's just not on the toes of Erling Haaland. Esteve was in the right place at the right time to clear it. Did really well, the defender, but frustration from Haaland. Cherky looks to cross it, blocked away by Ekdal, and the shot from range right down the throat of Dubravka. One thing that will give Arsenal fans hope, but will be a little bit unsettling to Pep Guardiola, is the fact that his team have had so many chances and just haven't put Burnley to bed, really, with the chances they've had in this first half. That's the only frustration they could probably have, City. It's that they're not further in front. 1-0, anything can still happen, and we've already seen Burnley, when they have got forward, they have looked dangerous, albeit few and far between, but it only takes one chance at 1-0 to upset the game against Manchester City. 2 minutes to go in the first half, and Dubravka will take this Burnley free kick, try and get his team up the field and maybe give them a little bit of a late first half flourish in attacking sense. Kick up the field, flicked off by Walker, and out for a City throw. Mark Gurhey will pass it off here to Aitnuri to take the throw. City work out of that pressured position well. Semenyo. Back it comes though, and a bit of Burnley pressure here. Kushanov finds his centre-back partner in Gurhey. Now they've got space to roam with O'Reilly, who's beaten to it there by Ward-Prowse. O'Reilly does well on the rebound to battle. Ultimately though, gives away a free kick. That's got a bit of applause from the home crowd. Just want to see their team fight, really. And James Ward-Prowse did a really good job there. Look at that, 10 shots in the first 25 minutes for City. Only 3 shots since. So they came flying out of the traps early. The game has slightly slowed down, and not as many clear-cut opportunities for the visitors as we go into additional time, of which we will have 2 minutes in this first half. And City have to defend a free kick here. James Ward-Prowse, long range, this swung round the back, right the way to the back post, and it's not cleared away. And O'Reilly got his body in the way. And I think too many Burnley players at the back post all queuing up. They might have made a bit of a meal of that ultimately. Great ball in by Ward-Prowse. I mean, incredibly threatening. And then just 2 players in there for Burnley trying to get something on the end of it. And in the end, by that point, Kushanov and Gurhey were on the scene. And Kushanov could clear it behind after the deflection and block by Nico O'Reilly. That's where the threat can be. And City, another set piece to defend, and a Burnley corner here. Corner, left hand side, swung on by the right foot by Ward-Prowse, taken down in the back post and then hooked clear. Nice City, but convincing from Manchester City right from the off there in the corner. With a loose pass, Aït-Nouri takes it down. O'Reilly back to Aït-Nouri. Bernardo Silva into Cherky. And poor with his first touch, not really driving with the ball, kind of just standing with the ball at his feet. Standing still a little bit, City. Just let this game drift, and the energy's been just zapped out of it, really. And there's the end of the first half. And a first half that started so positively for Manchester City, so incredibly positively, with Erling Haaland giving them the lead inside 5 minutes. They absolutely blew Burnley away in the first 15-20 minutes. But since, they just haven't gone to that extra level, Manchester City. And Burnley are hanging around in this game somehow after that first half, which City did control, but weren't ruthless in front of goal. And at the moment, they do lead, City. And they would, as it stands, lead the league. But it's not as convincing on the scoreline as maybe the first half performance should have delivered. Half time at Turf Moor. It's Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. Sure, one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions, and there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and battered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible.
Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life.
welcome back to Premier League Live half-time in our two games that we have an eye on tonight. At the Vitality Stadium, it's Bournemouth 0, Leeds 0, and here at Turf Moor, the only goal of the night has come from Manchester City, who lead Burnley by a goal to nil at half-time. Erling Haaland with the goal that separates the sides. One result so far from matchday 34, Brighton 3-0 winners against Chelsea last night at the Amex Stadium. A damaging result, and ultimately the result that concluded Liam Rosenior's very short tenure at Chelsea of just less than 4 months in charge, just over 100 days as the Chelsea boss, Liam Rosenior, and he was dismissed of his head coach duties earlier this afternoon. And Chelsea have Callum McFarlane in charge, who of course took interim charge after Enzo Maresca left the club earlier in the season, and he will take charge of the FA Cup semi-final against Leeds at the weekend. Well, speaking of what's coming up over the weekend, we have more Premier League football on Friday night for you. Sunderland taking on Nottingham Forest, a Forest side who are looking to evade relegation, and a Sunderland side who might push for a top half finish and maybe even European football for their first season back in the Premier League. That's on Friday night. And a busy weekend in the Premier League as well. The drama continues on the run-in. It all starts on Friday night and concludes on Monday evening as we have a FA Cup semi-final, a championship crowning day for Coventry as they're the champions and will get their trophy on Sunday at lunchtime, and as well some big Premier League games involving sides chasing European football as well. All that to come across the weekend on LFS. But consequentially tonight, as it stands, Burnley will be relegated, City will be top, and that is what is all happening by just one goal at the break. Second half between Burnley and Manchester City, and Bournemouth Leeds is on the way next.
Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life.
A reminder for you, welcome back to Premier League Live. A reminder for you that the top of the table would be Manchester City as it stands. Remember, only goals scored would see them top of the table at the moment, ahead of Arsenal. Both would be on plus 37 goal difference, but City will have scored 66 goals and Arsenal with just 63, and that is what would separate the two sides at the top of the table with level games. Remember, Arsenal haven't been dethroned to the top. They haven't been second or lower since early October, and City haven't been top of the table since the very first weekend of the season. So it is a huge swapping of positions at the top of the Premier League table. But quite ironically, it's not a position that Arsenal are too unused to. Arsenal have been top of the table more days than Manchester City since Mikel Arteta was appointed as Arsenal boss. But City have won 4 Premier League titles in that time. Arsenal haven't won any. So it just shows you that City occupy the top at the very right moments, and Arsenal keep it warm for City seemingly over the last few seasons. That's the way it stands at half-time, and a big second half to come here at Turf Moor. Whether City can take a goal difference advantage and put a few more goals on the line, or can Burnley save themselves from relegation. Remember, they will be down tonight with a defeat, and by any margin that is. So as it stands, Burnley would be relegated come the end of the game, and it will be the home side to get us back underway in the second half. Reminder, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on push notifications if you haven't done so already. It'll be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for joining us once again for this one tonight, and what a night it is set up to be in the Premier League title race and in that relegation battle. No changes, by the way, at half-time between the two sides. City leading by a goal to nil and want to be leading by more, and probably should be further ahead from what they provided in that first half, but still only one goal. There's a bit of defending here, early doors to do. Ward-Prowse's delivery cleared away at the back post by Nunes. City trying to break away with Semenyo there, but that one rolled out for a Burnley throw. We have to say at times City have been a little bit exposed at the back. Burnley have threatened on a few occasions, as I said, few and far between, but they have been a threat, and one or two early chances in the game. And at 1-0, you never know. City, oh, they've given it away there cheaply. Burnley, another architect of their own downfall moment. Semenyo, shot blocked as he tried to unleash one from inside the area. Again, closed off by a Burnley defender. That's what I mean about City at times tonight. They just haven't been ruthless in those positions, just haven't killed the game off, or at least taken a commanding lead on the score sheet. With all the opportunities and chances they've created, it's just been a lack of clinical edge, which is something you didn't think you'd say about Manchester City, who have been able to rack up the goals. In terms of their last 3 trips to Burnley, they haven't conceded, City, and have scored at least 2 goals in all 3 previous league meetings at Turf Moor between the sides. 2-0, 2-0 and 3-0 on the most recent meeting, of course, which was all the way back in the opening night, shall I say, of the 23-24 season. City won 3-0 on that opening evening. Erling Haaland with 2 and Rodri with a 3rd. Here is Jeremy Doku. Excuse me. As he back to Doku. Couldn't squeeze it through to Cherki. Well closed out. Again, Burnley unable to keep the ball for too long. Give it right back to Manchester City. And last time Burnley failed to lose at home to Manchester City was 7 games ago, when they drew 1-1 here in February of 2018. Hold on a second, here's Cherki, again run into trouble, and the ball hoofed clear by Burnley. In that game, finished 1-1. City took an early lead, and Johan Gudmundsson scored an 82nd minute leveller for Burnley on that night. Burnley, of course, finished 7th in that season back in 18-19, and City finished champions as the Centurion champions on 100 points. Well, even if they win the remainder of their games, they can get nowhere near that Centurions tally. Only 85 points is the max tally for both Arsenal and Manchester City. As here comes City on the breakaway, a 4v3. Here comes Cherki, they have to make something of this. Semenyo stretching and shooting over the crossbar. And the ball that found Semenyo just wasn't pitch perfect. And he had to stretch to take control of the ball and then shoot off balance. But Cherki breaking away again, rolled it to Semenyo. Just a little bit late to react, Antoine Semenyo. Yeah, it's just a little bit wayward again. And then as he leans back, struck well over the crossbar. It's been similar of City all night. They just haven't been killer in front of goal. And it's frustrating Pep Guardiola, who gone for a very unique look tonight, I have to say. But a little bit of frustration from Pep Guardiola. His side not killing this team off, and here come Burnley in behind. Jadon Anthony with a threat, closed out just in the nick of time by Mateus Nunes, but again Burnley showing a little bit of danger on the breakaway. Again, it's just a little bit loose from City defensively, just all ball watching. And as it drops to Jadon Anthony, sandwiched between Kushanov and Nunes, and the fullback comes across to put it behind for the corner, but he's really frustrated, Pep Guardiola, on the bench, really not happy. He's taking a seat along with the subs here, having a chat with Marmoush and Nathan Ake. Corner to Burnley. for second corner of the night for Burnley. Ward-Prowse to deliver. Right-footed. So away from goal. Headed away by Gerhi. All the way back to the halfway line for Kyle Walker. Pings one forward on the ground. Still makes contact there. There's Nunes, but Burnley thought they'd won it. Now they have won it as Doku runs into Kyle Walker. Humphreys now keeping himself up the field. Better spell here for Burnley. Switch ball by Walker. Headed away by Mateus Nunes. Loose from O'Reilly in the middle, who's certainly not commanded that midfield tonight, Nico O'Reilly. I mean, hasn't needed to, but you know what I mean. Just need to be a little bit more disciplined, Manchester City. They just played a bit too open. It's very kind of expectant from Manchester City. They expect to just stroll away with the victory here. It's a very dangerous mentality to play with in any game of football in the Premier League, away from home. No matter who you play, it's a very dangerous mentality to have in a game like this. We have so much of the control, but we've looked so wasteful in front of goal. Cherky again trying to find angles and spaces that just aren't there. That one's closed out well by Burnley. We just find that balance between really strong, compact defending and showing a little bit of threat on the breakaway. I think Pep Guardiola might need to go to his bench soon and just re-energise this side, which is something you really didn't expect when you saw the City lineup. You thought, yeah, if they're not 2 or 3-0 up within 25 minutes, there's something wrong. It's kind of been the case. They created all the chances to be 2 or 3 up within the first 25 minutes, but as I said, it's been the final end product that's just not been there for City at times tonight. Just let things get away from them, and that's where the danger comes in this type of game. Doku being really heavily held on to there by Humphreys. Referee does allow the game to be played on. City do keep possession. Silva, Cherky, back again to Mateus Nunes. 8 minutes gone of this second half, and I have to say Burnley have made it much more of a competitive second period than they did in the whole of the first. Certainly in and out of possession, look much sharper. That's nicely done from Cherky there, breaking away from Laurent, rolling it behind Haaland. It's another loose pass and another cheap giveaway there for Manchester City. And there's a ball in behind. The runner's on wide, but that's going to drop through for Donnarumma to take control of. Well, Burnley haven't scored at home any of the last 2 home games. 2-0 defeat to Brighton and a 0-0 draw with Bournemouth, but they did score 3 here against Brentford in a 4-3 defeat. They were 3-0 down in that game, Burnley, and came back to 3-3. We thought they actually went 4-3 in front. That was disallowed by VAR. Then Brentford did go in front, and then they thought they got a late leveller at 4-4, but that was also ruled out by VAR. So could have had 5 goals in that game. Haaland rolling it and hitting the post. Another chance goes a-begging for Manchester City. And on another day, that should be easy as you like for Erling Haaland from that sort of position. But again, it was a little bit sloppy in the build-up from City, albeit they find the right players and the right opportunities, but it's just a little bit all over the place, really, from both teams, and it just drops to Haaland, who struck it with his right foot and just dragged it onto the left post and wide. Not the most decisive of finishes from a man who's already found the net tonight. Doku doing well there. Off balance And City play it back to Donnarumma. He's had very little to do tonight. That early chance, the first shot of the game for Burnley was Jadon Anthony's shot on target. It's their only shot on target to this point for the home team, but it's the only real action Donnarumma's been called into. And trying to stop Burnley in an attacking sense. O'Reilly. Doku. Moving a little bit more into the centre there, Jeremy Doku. Cherki out wide to Semenyo. Lots and Claret in the way, and Semenyo couldn't beat past his man. And Hartman chasing this ball down. A little bit of danger for Kushanov, who steps across and mops that one up with ease ultimately. But again, as I say, Burnley showing more fight in this second half. You know this game is not beyond their reach at the minute, which is a major surprise. Still goalless in that game on the south coast between Bournemouth and Leeds. Two sides in good form, but cancelling each other out there at the moment. At the Vitality. Cherki. Bernardo Silva. Switched across to Gerhi. Right to the left-hand side comes Doku. Trying to tiptoe down the left channel, but feeds it back to Gerhi, and now Cherki. Lots of space, but not much invention from City. That's nice from Kushanov, breaking away down the channel here. From the centre-back. Cherki just recycles it back to Nunes, and now Kushanov again, who stayed high and wide. It's another example for City at the minute where they have got biting pace in this team, and they've got quality in abundance in that attacking area, but it's the type of players in the moment that need space to break into. Your Cherkis, your Semenyos, your Jeremy Doku's, all players that certainly can be driving forces in the team, run at players, take players on, but at the minute there's very little space for them to exploit. That's where they're kind of finding a bit of a struggle, Manchester City. Burnley have just tightened things up at half-time, and haven't seen as much open space for those types of players in this second half, and maybe there is a change of approach needed from Pep Guardiola and the type of player he brings on for the last 32 minutes. Nunes. Bernardo Silva reverses to Semenyo. Back inside to Bernardo Silva. Nice play this. Cherki takes the ball down on the edge. Now Doku. Again, another one swept over the crossbar by Manchester City. Looks like at times they're playing with that. One of those plastic 99p balls that you used to get. Oh, just being skied well over the crossbar for City at the minute, and cutting a very frustrated figure down there, Manchester City's manager Pep Guardiola. O'Reilly there penalised for a foul on a Burnley player, and that's going to be a free kick to the home team. Set pieces could be a key for Burnley if they want to find a leveller in this game, and they've got the perfect man from a dead ball, James Ward-Prowse, to try and find the right targets. Goal to tell you about at the Vitality Stadium, we'll get to that in a moment. The deadlock finally broken there. We'll wait on this Burnley free kick. Ward-Prowse making sure he's got it all set up perfectly. That's 5 or 6 players there hanging around the back line of City. Ward-Prowse swung it round the back, cleared away initially. Walker it drops to, who lets one fly, and that's well over the crossbar. Goal at the Vitality. Eventually, the deadlock is broken between Bournemouth and Leeds, and it is the home team, Bournemouth, who are on a 13-game unbeaten run, have taken the lead. Oh, City give it away cheaply here. Anthony with a poor kick in the end, in the air. Allows City to retrieve, but not looking comfortable at the minute, Manchester City. As I was saying, Eli Junior Krupe has given Bournemouth the lead there. Marcus Senesi with the assist, and Bournemouth in front in that game. Bournemouth, who've certainly come out in the second half with much more impetus to try and take the lead, and they have done so. A win tonight for Bournemouth would take them up to 6th, just 4 points off 5th place Liverpool, albeit have played a game more, obviously, than them. And it would be a battle of the South Coast teams in 6th and 7th. Brighton and Bournemouth occupying those two spots as it stands. Right, 61 minutes gone here at Turf Moor. Still Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. Riley dinks one into the area, away from Semenyo. As Bernardo Silva falls to the ground a little bit theatrically there, and gets back to his feet slowly but surely. I don't know whether he was wanting a foul there, Bernardo Silva, but the referee saw no issue. Dubravka. Ekdal down the right hand side. The ball inadvertently drops to Kyle Walker, who had a free man on the wide left in Jadon Anthony, but played it straight to Mateusz Nunes. Here's Cherky. Cherky fed in behind. Nunes. Cherky drifting in field, lays it to Bernardo Silva. Down the line to Nunes. Bernardo Silva. Gerhi. Right to Doku. So he keep pressing and probing in and around the box. Doku takes on a man. Try to cut it across. Well away from danger there. All of a sudden, Walker tries to play his team into danger, and Ekdal has to take evasive action with a long clearance. Nicely picked up again by City. A little bit of room here for Doku to poke through to Cherky, who just beaten to it by Ekdal. Got in the way of that one. And the question is, how long will it be before Pep Guardiola does go to his bench? I mean, I said it when I was announcing the team earlier and talking about the starting 11s. He's got a very strong bench if he needs to use it. Pep Guardiola, Omar Marmoush, Phil Foden, Savinho, all out and out attacking options. Tijani Reinders can also add to that from midfield. Gonzalez, Kovacic, Ake, Stones, all amongst them on the bench as well. So there are options for City at the minute. The team on the field are doing the job of leading the game and are in front, but could be by more just to ease the pressure a little bit. It looks like there is some movement on the City bench. Looks like 2 City players there ready to enter the fray very shortly. Just to give them a little bit more further forward, just to add that second goal and create that extra little bit of comfort in this game for City if they can. Just give them a bit of breathing room. Alright, double change then for City. Nico Gonzalez and is coming on. As is Savinho going to be coming on. So a double change here for Pep Guardiola. Aït-Nouri and Semenyo are replaced by Savinho and Gonzalez. So I would suspect O'Reilly would go to left back, and Gonzalez would take up the position that that O'Reilly had been playing in midfield. So a bit of a readjustment for City. And that is exactly what has happened. Right down the line, O'Reilly 1v1 with his man, helped out by Mark Gerhi, who came across. Right for the throw-in though to Burnley. 25 minutes to go. Still it remains 1-0. One chance you never know. is Kyle Walker with the throw for Burnley against his former team. Launches into the area with a long throw. Headed away by O'Reilly. Nicely cut out there by Hartman, but it's picked up by City and Savinho, and now Cherky's breaking down the right and they're away here, Manchester City. Ryan Cherky tiptoeing into the area. Closed off really well there. No forward pass available. He has to reverse it. Back to Mateus Nunes, who gives it away cheaply. Ian Fleming does well to evade pressure and challenge. He was in possession and then lost it and gave away a foul. Yeah, they've certainly tried, Burnley. It's not for the want of trying that they're not level in this game, but at the minute just don't have that quality at the top end of the pitch to prove it at the moment. And certainly they haven't proven it so far with the players at the top end of the pitch. Whether that can change. Nice ball through there by Ekdal. Albeit forced back through Kyle Walker's pass. And Ekdal plays a bit more of a wayward ball that time. Picked up by Manchester City. Here comes Bernardo Silva. Down the line, finds Savinho, who tries to get his feet in order. Has the ball here, Savinho. Back onto his left foot. Lays it to Cherky, who just hangs on to the ball, gets to the byline, trying to dribble his way towards the area and towards the goal, and ultimately flicks it into the hands of Martin Dubravka. I have to say, when he's been called into action tonight, the Burnley goalkeeper has pulled off some incredible saves. Hasn't had a save to make since the 43rd minute. 5 saves he's made tonight, Martin Dubravka. So he's been crucial to keeping this scoreline down. Albeit 4 of his 5 saves are down to his right hand side. The goal, funnily enough, was scored to his left hand side. Don't know whether that's something to focus on, but it is something I've taken an eye of. Another goal has happened at the Vitality, so it's all sprung into life there all of a sudden between Bournemouth and Leeds. Bournemouth took the lead through Junior Krupi, but an own goal from James Hill has Leeds United back on terms. And Leeds not going down without a fight there at Bournemouth. Remember, those two sides did draw in the reverse fixture earlier in the season, 2-2 at Ellen Road, and at the moment it is 1-1 at the Vitality Stadium. A result that would take Bournemouth above Chelsea in the table, up to 7th for Bournemouth with a draw. And Leeds would go on to 40 points with a draw, which would take them 9 clear of the relegation zone, with 12 points for them left to play for after this game. O'Reilly. Semenyo. Not Semenyo, sorry, Doku. Well, it is the Manchester City fans making noise at the moment inside Turf Moor. It's a very strange atmosphere here all night. I mean, it's been dead silent for a lot of the game, and every time we hear some noise, it's from the away ends. It's a very strange atmosphere. That's a lovely ball through. Played across by Guehi. Drops for Savinho. Good save by Dubravka again, with his right foot that time. Again, City come close, but Dubravka in the way again. Bernardo Silva will take this resulting corner. 20 to go. Left-footed delivery by Bernardo Silva, headed away at the front post, and will bounce out for another corner. So take 2 for Bernardo Silva. As he goes short this time. To Savinho. Back to Bernardo Silva. Cuts it across with his left foot to the edge of the area. Cherky! He tries to drive one low and hard and dragged it wide of the left post. A little bit sharper from City there, but again the finish letting them down. That's where you kind of have to point to it. They've played some really nice football at times tonight, City. Played it beautifully at times, but when it's come to the key positions and the key moments, they just haven't been able to find the way past Dubravka more than once. Change here for Burnley. Luam Chauna is going to be replaced by Lyle Foster. So an attacking change for the home team, who still very much in this game. Only takes one chance to change it. Lyle Foster on the field. Lyle Foster, who has scored 3 Premier League goals this season. His last of which came in a 2-2 draw against Spurs here back in January. And 2 of the 3 games that he has scored in this season, Lyle Foster, Burnley have either won or drawn the game. And City playing themselves into trouble there, giving away a cheap throw-in around about the halfway line. And Arsenal will be watching this one. I think the Arsenal fans after 5 minutes might have just turned their TV off and switched over to something else when City went 1-0 up inside 5 minutes, but maybe have just been tempted back to this game with 18 minutes to go and it's still remaining 1-0. Maybe you've just been tempted to say, oh, we'll give that one another look. You never know. But it's always the hope that kills you, really, against Manchester City. It's the hope that they will not come away with the result that you desire. Certainly as a Liverpool fan, I've known that over the last couple of years when Liverpool were going with City for titles and it's come down to the wire and you tune into these games that Manchester City play, you take an early lead and you think, oh, I'm not going to watch this. You wait and hope if the game's level that they do drop points, but we've seen it so many times before with this Manchester City team under Pep Guardiola. Maybe not these exact players, but this team under this manager have been before just eking out the key results to get the job done in whichever way possible. Tonight they really could have made it much easier on themselves, City, but as it stands they still would be going top of the table. Maybe by the finest of margins, but every little goal counts clearly at the minute. And that's what City would be top on, goals, which is crazy to think. Only once the Premier League title has come down to goal difference. That was back in 2012 when Manchester City won the title on the final day, that Aguero moment against QPR. It's the only time in the history that the Premier League title has come down to goal difference. It's come down to a point or two here and there on multiple occasions, but never just goal difference. And if Arsenal and City win to the end of the season, it could be decided on that one factor once again. Or even by a margin even finer than that. Which is mental to think. Well, Burnley have certainly tried in this second half. They've given more of a fight. Ultimately without the end product, but certainly have given Manchester City a tougher second half than they did in the first. And with 15 minutes to go here at Turf Moor, it remains just the one goal that separates the two sides. Manchester City side who are unbeaten in their last 5 away games in the Premier League. winning 3 of those, drawing the other 2. Drew away at West Ham and Spurs, and won away at Liverpool, Leeds and Chelsea in the last 5 away games. The last away defeat was away at Man United. It was actually their last Premier League defeat, was at Old Trafford back on the 17th of January. That's lovely from Burnley, and a breakaway zone here. It's Foster, plays it through to Zian Fleming, carried a little wide, but he's still got the threat here. Fleming flicks it back to the right hand side, and Foster miscued it. And that one will bobble behind ultimately for a goal kick. A little glimmer of hope there for Burnley on the breakaway. Nice ball by Foster, carried a little wide with Zian Fleming, but he did well to keep the pressure on. Swung it back across, it was guided into the path of Foster by Walker. And Lyle Foster got it all wrong with the shot. And ultimately just eked behind for a goal kick before Jadon Anthony tried to take control of it. But another warning sign to Manchester City. This game isn't over and done with just yet. The City team have put 5 past Burnley in the reverse fixture back in September. An own goal from Maxime Esteve. Actually 2 own goals from Maxime Esteve in that game. 2 Erling Haaland goals and a Mateus Nunes goal. Racked up the 5 for City, but they didn't keep a clean sheet that day. Jadon Anthony scored for Burnley on that occasion, and it made it 1-1 on the day, so who knows. Obviously City haven't kept a clean sheet in each of their last 2 games against Burnley, where they have conceded on both occasions, albeit both were at the Etihad. 3-1 and 5-1. One kick up the field. Header won by City and Kushanov. Nunes, Cherky, Bernardo Silva. A little bit of space here, but said that all night. Cherky breaking into the area now. Gets to the byline. Just stopped at the last second by Maxime Esteve. Corner it will be. Well, as I said, he did score 2 own goals against City in the reverse. He's played a game like he's making up for that poor performance and that real difficult moment against City in the early point of the season. He's played a really good game, Maxime Esteve. Certainly individually played a very good game. Corner to City. Man to watch here, Nico O'Reilly, surely, in this sort of position. Bernardo Silva goes short. To Savinho, back to Silva. He will carry across the edge of the area, finding Cherky. Again, I mean, they're doing Burnley's defending for them at the minute, Manchester City. Here's Savinho, though, takes it on his own. Swung it back across, headed away by Ward-Prowse. Brought down well by Bernardo Silva, who clipped one to the back post. Guehi was trying to arrive, but just beaten to it by Hartman. And then Walker helped out defensively. Cleared away now by Dubravka. Doku just keeping the ball in play here. Gets inside Walker. Cuts it back to Guehi. Now Cherky. Trying to dribble his way through. He's into trouble as he cuts it back across to Savinho. Into the box, Bernardo Silva. Wanted to hit one. Closed out well. Fed it wide to Nunes. Nunes to the byline. Clips one across. Dubravka got a hand to it. And Walker just about cleared it away. But City have Burnley penned in at the moment. This is better for Manchester City. Getting crosses and cutbacks from the byline. Here comes Ryan Cherky. Cuts it across, and Haaland flashed it over the bar again. Cherky's made all sorts of runs into the box tonight. I mean, on countless occasions, Ryan Cherky has made that little run from the edge of the area to around about the edge of the 6-yard box. And tried those crosses, and time again they just haven't found either their target, or when they have found their target, they haven't been able to find the finish. Into the final 10 minutes. In every little 5-minute increment, that ticks by. City are a step closer to being top of the table, but certainly not doing it the easy way. The way they've played in this second half and the way Burnley have played to make it a little bit more difficult for them at times. And as I said, City probably made it more difficult for themselves when they really needed to. Hartman. That's where you have to worry with the many chances that Manchester City have had. I mean, they've had 20 shots and 7 of them on target. So they've had a lot of opportunities and chances in front of goal. All it takes is one moment for Burnley to snatch away and steal a goal. We've seen it so many times before in the Premier League. Shanov heavy into O'Reilly, who did hold on to it well, and Gerhi down the line to Doku. He was held on to Jeremy Doku, and that's going to be a City free kick just inside their own half. And more Burnley changes, double change this time. It's going to see the introduction of Florentino and Armando Broja, who are going to be coming on. Zian Fleming is going to be one of those going off for Broja. The other change, as I said, is going to see Florentino Luis replace Humphreys. And Bashir Humphreys off. So a double Burnley change, and maybe a change of formation, maybe. Pushing a extra attacker up the field and one less defender just to maybe go for it a little bit more. Maybe Josh Laurent's just dropped in at the back five. Maybe just stick with that back five, possibly. Who knows? He dropped into a 5 at the moment, Burnley. Gerhi. Bernardo Silva back to Gonzalez. His pass was stopped from getting to Jeremy Doku by Kyle Walker, but again Burnley can't keep the ball. He wants to go himself out to that left touchline. Nico Gonzalez kept it in play. Doku. Bernardo Silva. First time ball from Nunes to Ryan Cherki. Back to Matej Nunes. 7 minutes. Plus any additional time. Remember, Burnley are relegated with a defeat tonight by any margin. So as it stands, Burnley will be relegated and City will be going top if it stays as it is. Nice flick by Nunes, finding Cherki. Gets a little bit of space. Let the shot off the head of Esteve. Alright, clearance. Got a little bit of pinball and Burnley are going to win the free kick. As Ward Price was brought down. And that's a set piece. Free kick in their own half. A reminder for you, more Premier League football on Friday night. Sunderland taking on Nottingham Forest. Under the lights at the Stadium of Light. Nottingham Forest looking to escape the threat of relegation after their 4-1 win against Burnley at the weekend. That took a massive boost. Can they do it again away at Sunderland? The Sunderland side who could, if they win at the weekend, possibly chase Europe as well. Who knows? We'll see what comes of that one. Friday night at 8 o'clock. That's a nice turn on the ball here from Doku. He's got Haaland in a 1v1 position. Hartman covered it well. Closed it off well. Again, look at Burnley. They give it away cheaply once more. I mean, get too excited that they win the ball back and then they just pop it around and play a loose pass. Give it away again. Savinho, well challenged by Hartman. Although, we'll go behind for a corner ultimately. Corner to Manchester City. This will be their 9th corner of the game. Can they add a second right at the death, just to add that little ease for the final few minutes? Savinho to the back posts. First contact by a Burnley player, half cleared to the edge of the box. Cherki recycled to Bernardo Silva. Wide it goes to Savinho. Tiptoeing into the area, finds Bernardo Silva. Try to spin on the ball, keeps it though. Again, being marked all the way by the shots. Is dragged wide, flashed wide by Nico Gonzalez. Again, Ward-Prowse said it was all over Bernardo Silva, and he just played the ball back to Nico Gonzalez, who struck it just wide of that post. Not too far away. More Burnley changes. Watchalong has been replaced, as has Jadon Anthony, and we've seen Marcus Edwards and Mike Trésor on. So Trésor and Edwards replacing Anthony and Laurent. And extra attackers with fresh legs on the pitch late for Burnley to try and steal an equaliser here at the death. We've got a free kick here in the City half. Another goal at the Vitality Stadium. It is now 2-1 to Bournemouth, and they will be heading up into the top six as it stands. They've retaken the lead. Rayan, set up by Tyler Adams, and Rayan seemingly scored the winner for Bournemouth. 2-1 to the Cherries. Guardiola not happy with the positioning of this Burnley free kick. Referee making sure it's being taken from the right spot. Ward-Prowse over it. Right-footed delivery towards the area, headed away by O'Reilly, and the flag is up against Burnley anyway. Not done enough themselves tonight, Burnley. I mean, they've had 9 shots, just the one on target, so they've had ample opportunities to shoot, but been very, very poor in front of goal. And we talked about it at the start of the night, about the remaining games in this title race. This is the way it looked at the start of the evening, with Burnley to play for Manchester City. As it stands, Arsenal will play Newcastle on Saturday, looking to retake the lead at the top no matter what happens tonight. And they play Fulham and Everton. Fulham at home for Arsenal and Everton away for City on the same weekend. Then they both play London sides the weekend after. Brentford at home for City, followed by West Ham away for Arsenal. And then the weekend after that, in the final penultimate weekend of the season, Burnley at home for Arsenal, Bournemouth away for City. So City's remaining fixtures seemingly the more difficult, making it more difficult for themselves tonight. Haaland off balance right down the throat of Dubravka. I mean, countless chances, absolutely countless amounts of chances City have had tonight. Gonzalez under a bit of pressure there, skies that one into the air, and ultimately Trésor couldn't take hold as it dropped to the ground again. Last minute of the 90. How long will be left of this game? Come on, Burnley has taken a rousing chorus, or whoever and how many ever Burnley fans are in the stadium tonight. It's not a packed crowd, it's quite a lot of empty seats in the home stands. Haaland, his own worst enemy there, deflecting off his own body to clear it away from the Burnley box. I said at times City have done Burnley's defending for them at times tonight. Bernardo Silva across to Cherki, pokes it across to O'Reilly, who could have put it to bed and just, cushioned that one into the hands of Martin Dubravka. I mean, that's a wild moment. I mean, what has he actually done there? He's made barely any contact with it, but no power on the shot whatsoever there, Nico O'Reilly. Poor finish again. 90 minutes are up. How long is added on? 4 added minutes. Florentino laid it off to Edwards, who gave it away. Game's opened up a little bit more. Doku on the ball there now though. It's now 3-1 to Bournemouth. They have surely wrapped up the points there on the south coast. And ultimately in the end, making easy work of Leeds. Ultimately, Evan Nielsen with the 91st minute third goal. And it is 3-1 to Bournemouth, and they would be going into the top 6 as it stands, ahead of Brighton. They're on 51 points, Bournemouth, as it stands. 50 points for Brighton and 48 for Chelsea. So they'll be 3 ahead of the Blues with a win tonight, Bournemouth. Here comes Cherky. Dricking into the box. He got a shot off. And deflected off Florentino. Behind for another corner. Good defending by Florentino, but again, Pep Guardiola, even if Manchester City win this tonight and go top of the table, I do not think Pep Guardiola will be smiling at the final whistle. His team should have been winning 4 or 5 here tonight, and he knows it. And knows that all these goals that could have been might come to count at the end of the season. Maybe against them. Savinho goes short from the corner. 2 minutes to go. Savinho pokes across, finds Cherky in space. He lays it off to Guehi, whose shot was again blocked from long range. I mean, that's just one pass too many. I mean, why does Cherky not shoot there? He's got all the time and space that he wants in the box and decides to pass it. Their decision making's been poor at times, City, and when they have got the right decision, their finishing's been poor. I mean, it's certainly not a masterclass in attacking from City. Far from it. Silva, Savinho, into the box he comes. Stolen away from him, but back to Bernardo Silva. And lots of City players in there, but ultimately Burnley come out of it with the ball and clear it long. Last 90 seconds of possibly Burnley in the Premier League. Without being a relegated side, they will be relegated as it stands. Pulling behind, Haaland on the chase. Dubravka got there ahead of that one. Took a risk there, the Burnley goalkeeper. Last minute. They're going to do it now, Burnley. Well, it has to be now. They've got a free kick. O'Reilly giving it away. Telling his team to get up the field, Scott Parker. Last hitting hope chance. Ball drifts wide here. Edwards lays it across the box. No one in the middle. Kept alive. Still not half cleared there by Guehi, and Haaland miscues his clearance. Walker wide to Edwards. It's on his left peg and crosses it deflected. It will be a corner. Last chance here for Burnley. You always get a chance. I mean, this would be pandemonium if this was to happen. The keeper's come forward. Dubravka. I mean, he couldn't, could he? He's made 6 or 7 saves tonight. He couldn't come up with a key moment. Surely. Dying seconds. It's now or never for Burnley. Score or they're relegated. Ball swung in. Headed away by Doku. Guehi was there to help out. More Price. Trying to rescue another chance for them. But there's the final whistle. City get the job done. They're going top. And Burnley are going down. Confirmation of Burnley's relegation. It was surely only a matter of time. And their time has come. Burnley are relegated from the Premier League at the first time of asking. After being 100-point winner, promoted side last season from the Championship, finishing second, of course, the Leeds on goal difference. Well, they are going right back down to the Championship. But more crucially, when it comes to the title race, it is Manchester City who are claiming top spot tonight by goals scored. They only needed one tonight. Erling Haaland with the key goal. once again in back-to-back games to deliver the winner for his team. He did it against Arsenal on Sunday and does it against Burnley on Wednesday night. City are top, but by the slimmest, finest, most tight of margins. They are level on points, level on goal difference, but leading by 3 goals over Arsenal. City top for the first time since match day 1, and Arsenal dethroned from top spot for the first time since early October. But at the bottom, right at the bottom, and we can show you the bottom of the table right now, it shows that Burnley are officially, mathematically relegated. 13 points the gap between Burnley and West Ham, and Burnley just have 4 games left to play. That's just 12 points left to play for, so they are officially down, and they join Wolves, who will also be going to the Championship next season. So, what a night in the Premier League title race then, albeit it wasn't to be the 3-4-5 that we expected from Manchester City, but certainly a night to say that they, for the very first time since the opening weekend of the season, they are the league leaders. And that is really, if the reigniting of their title charge was on the weekend against Arsenal, well, they have blazed into the lead, and Arsenal are now the chasers, even by the finest of margins, but they're the team in the chase. And I cannot believe what I've just seen at the Vitality Stadium. Remember, we told you that Bournemouth went 3-1 up. Well, not only was that third goal disallowed, Leeds have somehow found an equaliser. It's 2-2. And Sean Longstaff, with a 97th minute equaliser, has tied it up at the Vitality. So Bournemouth, who were cruising their way to 6th place in the Premier League at the end of the game tonight, are going to be dropping 2 points. And Eli Junior Krupi, who scored the opener tonight for Bournemouth, he scored a 93rd minute equaliser for Bournemouth at Elland Road in a 2-2 draw between the sides in the reverse fixture. Well, it looks like Bournemouth are going to have a taste of their own medicine on their home turf in this game. Sean Longstaff with a 97th minute equaliser for Leeds. A point for them, a huge point for them in trying to stay in the Premier League. 40 points Leeds have reached. That's 9 clear of the drop in the drop zone, and Bournemouth are going up to 7th onto 49 points. Massive. But City have got the job done then against Burnley tonight, and they are top of the table. Let's tell you what's coming up then on LFS. Friday nights, we are back to the Premier League once again. Sunderland taking on Nottingham Forest. Sunderland on the chase for European football. And now, with Bournemouth's draw against Leeds, that's now confirmed, Sunderland on 46 points could go level on points with Bournemouth in 7th, and could leapfrog them on goal difference if they beat Forest by ample amount of goals. A Forest side who could, if they pick up anything against Sunderland, even a draw, would put them 6 points clear of the bottom 3. Forest are 5 clear at the moment of Spurs. Remember, they play ahead of Spurs at the weekend. Spurs don't play to 3 o'clock on Saturday. Neither do West Ham, so Forest could get the jump on those two below them if they pick up big points away from home on Friday night. And Leeds have taken a big gap to those below them as well, but have played a game more. As well as that, we have more action across the FA Cup in the semi-finals, as well as the Championship as well across the weekend. So lots to look forward to as the drama continues in the run-in, and the drama does continue as the run-in is only getting started.
Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life.
And there you have it. The run-in only getting started. City win by 1 at Turf Moor, but it is the one that sends them top and the one that sends Burnley down to the Championship.